Hi, my name's John Weeks. I'm Director at Radius EMEA.
And I'm Christine Drummond, Group Manager at Radius. We've noticed that clients often neglect to think more carefully about how messaging can really drive brand growth. And a lot of time is given to segmentation or line extensions, but communications research can often fall by the wayside when it comes to research planning. So today we wanted to talk a bit about what really gets us excited about communications research and some of our lessons learned.
So, Christine, what gets you excited when you're working on a communication study for clients?
Yeah, what really gets me excited about working on comms research for our clients is really hearing what kind of outcome the research is going to drive for them. So, whether it's really how to position a new product that they're trying to bring to market, or they're trying to change the way consumers perceive their offerings, really thinking about how the results from this type of work can help clients transform how their customers and the broader marketplace view them is really exciting to me.
I like that. I think the other bit for me is that it's really about where the brand's purpose is truly tested. So, we're doing all sorts of other things for brands, but when you're testing communications, it's really about them being able to show to their audience, this is why we exist, this is why we're here, these are the products, this is what we believe in as an organization, and what we believe we can deliver for you as a consumer. So I think there's a lot of where it really kind of comes home to roost there. I think that the second part for me is that it's very much about diverse teams and disciplines that come together. We get to work with media strategy agencies, we work with our insight clients, we work with their marketing teams, and we really get to kind of test out kind of all of these different elements and bring together a broad church of people.
John, how can you tell when a communication strategy isn't working, even before the insights work starts kicking off?
I think for me, there are some kind of clear markers of where you can get a sense where the success is or isn't going to come along from. And I think one of the central areas for that is the level of empathy that the work can bring to the audience, and I think that comes through all the way through from the team and then into the copy itself, what we're actually testing. So a really good recent example that has obviously clearly been in the media a lot is around COVID-19 and how brands have reacted to that. And one of the challenges from that is that in looking to be empathetic, the brands have worked with their agencies to create an advert and to show their customers that they're still there for them, even in difficult times. But the problem that that's led to is that all of these adverts have then become a trope of themselves. If you look across all the adverts, you see repetitive mentions of phrases like times like these, more than ever, kind of home, family, we're here for you. And the problem is that then becomes a cliche. And then where you end up with all of that is that when consumers start to notice these similarities between the adverts, the impact is there is a lack of empathy because it doesn't feel that they're truly thinking about their audience. How about
Right.
yourself?
It doesn't feel authentic.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, that makes me think of another thing. We see this sometimes from our clients before we even start the insights work, that they feel they really have a strong communications platform because they've put a lot of effort and time in the past into researching it and developing it with their ad agency. But then the market changes in some massive way, right? And we've seen a lot of that over the past year and a half with the pandemic and lots of things in the world. And so, it's really critical that if the market changes, that you explore the possibility that your communications platform has to change with it, and really, do that research and understand how consumers' needs and the factors they're considering have evolved because of the big changes that have happened in the market. The other thing that I see quite often is that, our clients obviously care so much about kind of protecting their customer base. And so, really, when they focus on their communication strategy, they kind of have a bullseye on their customers. But they sometimes forget to zoom out and look at that broader market and look at prospects and understand what resonates with them when comes to communication. And sometimes it can be a very different message that works for prospects than what would work with their current customers. And if you don't explore that, you really, our clients can really miss an opportunity for growing their brand. So, that's something really important to think about.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see the parallel in that with brands that have lots of things they want to say, but the challenge is in being kind of clear and concise on the message for that particular audience, particularly when you're wanting to talk to an audience that isn't the one that is your typical consumer, the one that they always market towards. Because if you have to assume a level of prior knowledge or understanding, or that is baked within the communications, everybody in the audience isn't going to be able to get the idea immediately or see where your brand is coming from. So it's not going to strike a chord with that audience, and it's going to fail. So it's really important that every single piece of comms that gets tested or it goes into market, make sure that it can talk fresh to everyone and that it is as straightforward so anybody can actually watch an advert and just get it.
Right.
So we've talked a little bit now about where things don't go so well. I think it'd be great, Christine, if you could just tell us a little bit about areas where, what's the best outcome you've seen for a client?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of my favorite approaches to communications research that we've seen drive a lot of really great outcomes for our clients is when we kind of blend the qualitative and the quantitative research together in an iterative fashion. So, one of the approaches we use a lot is doing some real-time concept optimization qualitative research. And what's really great about this is that you get the voice of the consumer, which really helps bring things alive for our clients, but you also get that engagement from your clients, from their ad agencies, from their internal teams, because they can help, kind of workshop the messaging as part of the research. And then we cap it off with a quantitative validation, which gives them sort of that rigor to feel good about what messages to put into the market. And so it really allows us to kind of cover all our bases in a short amount of time, and we can feel confident that we've explored the communications really from every angle.
Exactly. I think one of the things that I heard loud and clear then was talking about engagement. And I think that is the fundamental element for helping any piece of communications then become memorable, because essentially that's what you're the brand is looking for, really. It's for consumers to remember you, to remember that copy, to remember that moment, and to then, when they're at that point of purchase, that moment of truth, to then be positively influenced to make the purchase. And I think there are kind of four underlying elements that really stick within that memorability and that engagement, which is, first and foremost, you have to make sure that you're going to demonstrate to the potential consumer how you're going to help them in their life, regardless of what product or service you're offering them. Within the communications, you also want to tell them a story and make sure that's a powerful story that's going to resonate with them and that they can relate to. One of the other things we see time and again is that actually copy that has a degree of humor to it, that is somewhat light-hearted and can make people laugh, always becomes much more memorable. And behind all of that as well is, if you're able to reveal some sort of unknown truth about the category, the product, or how you're going to meet their need differently or better than they have done before, and how you're going to bring it back to help me in my life, that is going to really land the piece of comms. So there's quite a lot to do within one piece of communications, regardless of the media that you're actually doing that within.
That's so true, John. But I think those four key areas you just outlined can really help give our clients some good food for thought to kind of give them a framework going into their next communications effort. So we just want to thank everybody for listening, and hopefully this gave you some good food for thought going into your next communications project. Thanks so much.
Great, thanks.